And it's driven from a business mentality instead of a mentality of how do we make patients better. And so what you've got is a situation where, for example, the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, is famous for some of the best quality and some of the lowest cost.
Here he is, ably leading, right? He's doing a good job. He is ably leading the organization famous for housing the treasures of both science and art, the wonders of nature and mankind, and the marvels of the heavens and the earth.
They said 500,000 people lined the streets of Washington to see the King and Queen of England on the first visit by probably our most famous royal neighbors and relatives.
So I was the second most famous person to ever show up.
And finally, I wanted to say today that I intend to come to Ireland in May, and I'm expecting to go not only to all the famous sites, but also to go to Montreal, where my great-great-great-great-grandfather hails from.
Question is, if you were to meet any famous person that has ever lived, who would it be?
Wow, that's tough.
He said, they also serve who only stand and wait. And your families serve as well, and the rest of America owes your families a debt of gratitude.
There's a lesson that's especially true today in a culture that prizes flash over substance, that tells us that the goal in life is to be entertained, that says you can be famous just for being famous. You remember, in the words made famous by one of your greatest poets, that in dreams begin responsibility. This is a nation that met that responsibility by choosing, like your ancestors did, to keep alight the flame of knowledge, invest in a world-class education for your young people. The most famous example is the issue of China's currency.
It's a war that was declared by President Nixon in 1971, but that goes way back. Even the famous convention of the opium.
We didn't have famous families. This country is famous for its natural resources, and they must be protected against exploitation. She reminds us that this is how change happens. Not mainly through the exploits of the famous and the powerful, but through the countless acts of often anonymous courage and kindness and fellow feeling and responsibility that continually, stubbornly expand our conception of justice, our conception of what is possible.
Tonight, in that context, I would like to ask you a question.
Please.
With best intentions and all